Mogul Motivation, educating and empowering entrepreneurs 1 week at a time. Presented by True Stories Media. And I am your host, Antoine Twiz Taylor. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mogul Motivation. Welcome back. I'm so happy that you are here listening. This podcast is for the aspiring entrepreneur who has come from nothing, who doesn't have any guidance, who doesn't have a silver spoon in their mouth. This podcast is for you on how you can get over that hump and become a success. This podcast is for anybody who has a dream and wants to reach that dream. I don't ask for any money. This podcast is free to download and free to listen to. All I ask is that if you feel you're benefited from this podcast, you pass it on to somebody else who may benefit from it as well. Subscribe and leave us a review. Also, when you get a chance, please visit www.mogulmotivation.com. It's free information on that website that helps you start and efficiently run your business. My passion is making sure that you don't lose your passion. That's why I do this every single week. I don't take no days off. I love what I do. It brings me great joy to see people who are going forward and starting their businesses and making things happen, because that's what we have to do. That's what it's all about. Don't ever let somebody tell you that you can't do something. So that's my passion. Another one of my passions growing up was sports. I love sports. I played every sport in high school. Well, not every sport, but the top 3 major sports in high school: basketball, football, and track. I was an athlete. I still play sports in my leisure from time to time. One of my favorite teams is the Chicago Bears, even though for the past 7 years, they basically haven't done much of anything. You know, it's been a tragedy watching them play. It's pretty sad, but the Chicago Bears are still one of my favorite teams. I still root for them no matter what, even though I do expect them to lose from time to time. One of the greatest teams in NFL history, arguably, is the 1985 Chicago Bears. Most experts will tell you that that's the best team in NFL history. Jim McMahon, Walter Payton, Mike Ditka, The Fridge, Dan Hampton, Richard Dent, Mike Singletary, all of those boys, they are part of that group. The Super Bowl Shuffle, that group that basically dominated every game that they played. They had punishing defense. They would put you in your place. They would stop you in your tracks. The original monsters of Midway, led by Walter Payton, Sweetness, arguably one of the greatest running backs of all time. That 4-6 defense, orchestrated by Buddy Ryan, was just on a whole nother level. The 85 Bears lost one game. It was a Monday night football game. They went down to Miami and they played against Dan Marino and those boys, and they lost. Dan Marino carved up that 46 defense, and it was something that the Bears really wasn't ready for, and they took that L. Nevertheless, though, they bounced back from that loss. They recovered from it. They corrected their mistakes, and they won the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl in a blowout, even though they didn't go undefeated. The 72 Dolphins went undefeated, and they're not considered better than this 85 Bears team. Ladies and gentlemen, victory ain't perfect. As entrepreneurs, and this is something that I struggle with personally a lot, we always want everything in our business to go perfect. Entrepreneurship is not perfect. The road to success is not perfect. It's far from it. You're always going to have blemishes. You're always going to have hiccups. You're always going to make mistakes. You're always going to fuck up from time to time. It's going to happen. No matter how much you learned, no matter how smart you are, no matter how smart you think you are, no matter how perfect your team is, no matter how perfect you think your team is, you're always going to have hiccups along the road. You're going to go over bumps. It's going to happen. It's a reality. Everything isn't going to be perfect. On my personal entrepreneurial journey, everything up until this point that I said I was going to achieve and acquire, I have done it. I can honestly say I have accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish in these past 6 and 7 years. But I can tell you this, everything that I've accomplished has never been exactly how I envisioned it being. Okay? Everything that I got is not exactly how I wanted it to be. That's what you have to understand. It's no perfect dream. Everything is not going to be smooth sailing. You might want something and you will get it, but it's not going to be exactly how you wanted it to be. I want y'all to understand that your business isn't going to thrive instantly. Everything is not going to go perfect. It's not going to be roses and peaches all the time. It's not. And you have to understand that. You have to face that reality. Because the sooner you understand that, the more happy you will become on your journey. Stop expecting everything to be exactly how you want it to be. The 85 Bears lost one game. They went 15-1, but they still won the Super Bowl. Nobody remembers the fact that their record was 15-1. They just remember that they was the greatest team of all time in NFL history. That's what your legacy is going to be. People aren't going to remember your mistakes here and there. Only you. You see, we're our hardest critics all the time. We always beat ourselves up because we feel like we can do more of this, we can do more of that. Things should be going this way, things should be going that way. But we don't focus on the overall scheme of things, which is, guess what? My business is succeeding. My business is progressing. I'm learning. I'm getting better as an entrepreneur. I'm getting closer to my dreams. That's what matters. It doesn't matter that you have a clean slate and that you're some pristine, perfect person. Entrepreneurship isn't pretty. It's not all about the likes and the comments and the shares on social media. That's not what it's about. It's about rolling up your sleeves and doing the work, getting shit done. That's what entrepreneurship is about. That's what it's about when it comes to chasing your dreams. There's no perfect time to quit your job. If you want to start a business, if you want to leave your job and pursue school or pursue what's really going to make you happy, stop waiting for the perfect time, because the perfect time ain't going to come. It's never going to come. It's never a perfect time to start a business. It's never a perfect time to do X, Y, and Z. It's never a perfect time to launch a new marketing campaign or a new product. It's never a perfect time. The time comes when you're ready to make it happen. It's always going to be hiccups. It's always going to be a storm. It's always going to be something you got to fight through. You got to understand that. Victory ain't perfect. Victory is victory, though. The fact that you win. The fact that you proved all your naysayers wrong. The fact that you actually made things happen. The fact that you actually accomplished everything that you put down on your vision board, on your goal list. That's what matters. It don't matter how long it took you to get there. It don't matter how many times you failed to get there. What matters is that you got there. And you got to remember that. Don't you ever forget that. Don't let nobody tell you that, oh yeah, it took you 7 years to gross X, Y, and Z dollars. But it's cool though. Don't let nobody tell you that. The fact is that you did it, because most people, you're doing what most people are not going to do. You got to remember that too. What you're doing right now, most people aren't going to do it. Most people aren't going to start that business. Most people aren't going to take that leap of faith. Most people aren't going to do none of these things. They're going to remain content, and they're going to remain a captive of their circumstances, just how we talked last week. You got to keep that in mind. You have to choose victory. When you get a chance, go back and listen to the episode titled Choose Victory. You have to choose victory, but then after you choose victory, you have to realize that victory ain't perfect. You're going to mess up. The 96 Bulls went 72-10. They had the best regular season record in NBA history until a few years ago when the Golden State Warriors broke that record. They went 73-9. But guess what? The 96 Bulls is still considered a better team than that 73-9 Golden State Warriors team. You know why? Because they won the championship. The Golden State Warriors couldn't close the deal. They dropped the 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals to the Cleveland Cavaliers. That Golden State Warriors team isn't going to be remembered for going 73-9. They're going to be remembered more so for losing the finals and losing a 3-1 lead. The 96 Bulls that went 72-10 finished the deal. They won the championship. That's why they're considered a greater team. Victory ain't perfect. Victory ain't pretty. Victory ain't peaches. Victory is victory. Keep that in mind. And that's all I got to say this week. I basically said the same thing for 10 minutes straight. But y'all got to understand that because it's so important. Because we're our biggest critics. We're our biggest critics. And I know that a lot of my episodes overlap in many areas. I know they do. But motivation is just like showers. You need to take a shower every single day. You need to cater to your hygiene every single day. You need to brush your teeth every single day. You need to brush your hair every single day. Motivation is the same way. You need it every day. You need it every week. You need to take it in. You need to soak it into your spirit. And you need to keep it there. And you need to keep going forward. No matter what. Victory ain't perfect. So let's continue to work. Let's continue to match reality until next week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make it happen. Let's not beat ourselves up. And let's keep our eyes focused on the prize. Have a great day. I'll talk to you next week.